Hey guys, so today we're going to be making Nami from the One Piece series, as you know. So as you can see, we've got the orange hair, the bikini top, the jeans, and then yeah, we've just made a mini version of this little cutie. So we'll get right into it and start making her. In order to make Nami, we're going to need the following materials. So the first thing you'll need is a 1.9mm hook. This is what I generally use for these type of characters. And I use 4-ply cotton yarn as well, as you will see here. So this is the milk cotton yarn that I use for my amigurumi creations. But feel free, for 4-ply cotton yarn, you can use anywhere between a 1.75 and a 3mm hook as well. Or if you have different style yarn and you're used to a different hook, feel free to use that as well. This pattern should work out the exact same. We're also going to be needing a pair of cutters, a tapestry or a sewing needle, depending on what you have there. Of course, some fiber filling, and you will also need some 6 or 7mm black safety eyes here. So those are the things that you will need, and you might need some pins as well. I usually use pins to pin on the hair, just like these type of pins here. So for example, these are quite small. If you have them, feel free to use them. If you don't, that is more than fine. You should be able to sew on the hair anyway, but it does help to just get the alignments right for the front and the back all the way around. But in any case, those are the materials that we need, so let's jump straight into the tutorial now. Okay, so we're going to start off by using this cerulean blue. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's this type of denim blue, which will work well for the jeans. So all we're going to do here is make a magic ring. So start just by making a simple magic ring. If you're completely new to crochet, by the way, I would not recommend this tutorial. I would first go to my beginner's crochet tutorial playlist and master some of those techniques that I have there. And once you've got those techniques done, come back to this tutorial and then continue on. We use the basic single crochet stitch pretty much most of the time, and we incorporate maybe like a spike bubble stitch here and there. So this is a fairly straightforward tutorial, but if you don't know how to crochet, go check out my tutorial playlist for crochet beginners, and then come back here and let's do the tutorial together. Alright, so I just want to give you a quick tip on how I make these single crochet stitches. So this is how I do it. So let's just pretend this is a stitch space right here. I enter my hook inside it, and then my yarn comes underneath the hook to pull it through. So yarn under is what we call that. And then I have yarn over on the top. So that's the style of single crochet stitch that I use. So again, it's yarn under first and then yarn over. One more time. So I go yarn under first and then yarn over, just like that. So if you are used to yarn under, feel free to use that because the stitches look really great for amigurumi as well. If you're used to yarn over, as a beginner, usually that's how you do that, or if you work with clothing, it usually is yarn over. You can still use that, there's no problem if that's your preference, though I would suggest yarn under, yarn over, just to get this style of look. The stitches are a little bit tighter, and things like that. So let's continue now. So in this magic ring, we want to make a total of 6 single crochet stitches. So that's my number 4, this is number 5, and finally number 6, just like that. Then we're going to pull this yarn tail here to close up our magic ring. And then from here, we're going to finish each round with a slip stitch and a chain 1. So some of you might be used to crocheting in a spiral, and that's okay too, although you'll have to be wary of how your stitches line up. But if you want to do the slip stitch and chain 1, this is how we do it. So we slip stitch into the first loop on the hook, and then we chain 1 just like that. And we want to do that at the end of each round. Okay, so we're up to round number 2 now. And in round number 2, we're just going to make an increase in every single stitch space. So an increase just means, and this is my first increase that I've done right there, but let's do it again. So an increase is 2 single crochet stitches inside the same stitch space. So now we have not 1 but 2 increases here. Let's do a third increase. So here's the first single crochet stitch, back in the same stitch space, and make the second single crochet stitch. And there we go. So we've got 3 increases right there. What I want you to do is repeat this another 3 times until you have 12 stitches in total, or 6 increases, and finish with a slip stitch and chain 1 for the end of round 2. Alright, so for round number 3, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. 1 and 2. So let's just do that again. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. 1 and 2. Now I want you to repeat that 4 more times. You will have 18 stitches finished in the end of round 3. And finish with a slip stitch and chain 1 as always. For round number 4, this is what we will now do. So we're going to make 5 single crochet stitches first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5 right here. But before you finish the 5th stitch, I want you to change your yarn color to flesh pink. So grab your flesh pink colored yarn right now and weave it through those 2 loops on the hook for that 5th stitch, just like that. What we'll do here now is we're going to make a different type of stitch. It's not your regular single crochet stitch. You're going to wrap the yarn and you're going to not come here, but you're going to come further down to this elongated stitch here. That's what you call the spike stitch. But because we've incorporated a wrap here, we're actually going to make a spike bobble stitch. So remember, don't come here, come down further by 1 row. And, hold on, let's get in there first. And then you're going to pull up the yarn and then pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. Let's do it again. Wrap the yarn, come into the same stitch space, pull up the yarn and pull through 2 loops on the hook. And let's do it one more time. So wrap the yarn, pull up the yarn, and pull it through 2 loops on the hook. Now you have 4 loops on the hook right here, and this is the point where you change back to your denim blue and pull the denim blue through those 4 loops on the hook. From here, what you want to do is continue now with another 5 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And remember, at the end, or at the when you've got 2 loops on the hook for the stitch 5, you're going to pull that flesh pink colored yarn through. Give this a little bit of a push out, just like that. Now let's make that second leg. You want to wrap the yarn first, not come here, but come into this elongated stitch space, pull the yarn up, pull the yarn through. Wrap the yarn, same space, pull the yarn up, pull the yarn through. One more time, just like that. Make sure you pull it up, pull it through 2 loops on the hook, grab your denim blue colored yarn and pull it through all 4 loops on the hook. And now you'll be left with a total of 6 single crochet stitches to finish off this space here. So here we go. 1, and you can even wrap this flesh pink colored yarn tail in the first 2 or so stitches. 2, 3, I actually might just weave it until I get to the end. 4, 5, and lastly number 6, just like that. Perfect job, guys. Okay, come into this very first stitch, finish off round 4 with a slip stitch and chain 1. Pull all this, push all this back the right way where it should be, and look at that. We've got kind of the jeans and our 2 feet intermingled with these jeans here. Now what we want to do for round number 5 is just make 18 single crochet stitches. Super simple, just 18 single crochet stitches all the way around to finish round number 5. And on that 18th stitch, so that last stitch, we're going to change the color to flesh pink, so we can do that together. Okay, so for round number 6, well, first of all, this is the 18th stitch here. We haven't completed it just yet. We've got 2 loops on the hook, and now I'm going to weave this flesh pink colored yarn through those 2 loops on the hook to finish off that 18th stitch. Then we'll come over here, have the denim blue come over the hook, make your slip stitch, and chain 1. There you go. Okay, so for round number 6, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come into the back loops of each of these stitches all the way around. So just those back loops, and we'll make single crochet stitches in all the back loops. Super easy, just making sure we're working in those back loops all the way around. So there should be 18 in total to finish round number 6. Okay, so just finish with a slip stitch and chain 1. And now for the next 2 rounds, this is round 7 and 8, what we're going to do now is just make 18 single crochet stitches, but this time in both the front and back loops of the stitch. So remember, that's 2 rounds now of 18 single crochet stitches for rounds 7 and 8. By the way, you can cut off your blue colored yarn here as well so it doesn't get in the way, so feel free to do that too. Alright, so what we want to do at the end of round 8 right here, this is our 18th stitch in round number 8, we're going to change yarn colors to this lighter sort of teal green, if you will. So let's finish off our 18th single crochet stitch here, come into this first stitch of round number 8, have these 2 yarn tails on top of the hook so you can weave it in, make a slip stitch and chain 1. Now with this next round, we need to be mindful of everything that we're going to be doing because we're going to start creating the arms as well. So let's do this little by little. So this is what we'll do. 1 single crochet stitch first, 2 single crochet stitches, 3rd single crochet stitch, and here is where we kind of switch it up a little bit. So we have the 4th single crochet stitch right here, and this is where we change yarn colors to flesh pink, just like that. Now from here, what we're going to do is make a bubble stitch again in the same way we did the feet, but not come here, come right here in this elongated stitch space. So we're going to wrap the yarn first, enter into that elongated stitch space, pull up the yarn and pull the yarn through 2. Repeat that another 2 times. That's the 2nd time, and here is the 3rd time overall. Grab this yarn color back, weave it through all 4 loops on the hook just like that. And now what I want you to do is make 7 single crochet stitches. So that's 1, 2, and I'm weaving in this flesh pink as I go. You don't have to though. 3, 4, 5, 6, and finally number 7. Now don't complete that 7th single crochet stitch, complete it with your flesh pink colored yarn. And now we're going to make that 2nd arm, not come here but come right here in this stitch space right here. Pull up the yarn, pull through 2. Repeat 2 more times, pull up the yarn, pull through 2, 1 more time, stitch space, pull up the yarn, pull through 2, just like that. Change back to this teal colored yarn and finish off your remaining stitches with that color. You can weave in or not weave in that flesh pink colored yarn, completely up to you. I'm going to bring it back to the center just because I know I'm going to use it for the head, so that's the reason why I do that there. Now let's have a quick look at what this looks like. We do end up changing the yarn color at this point, so let's do that now. So it was a good thing I kind of weaved in this flesh pink, but again, you don't have to do that. So on this 18th stitch of round number 9, I'm going back to my flesh pink colored yarn. I'm going to weave this teal lighter green colored yarn on top of the hook as I make the slip stitch and chain 1. Alright, so this is what we're going to do now. You're going to make a single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. So an invisible decrease is just the following. You come, insert your hook into the front loop of the first stitch, and then the front loop of that 2nd stitch. Pull the yarn through and pull the yarn through again. You've just made your first invisible decrease right there. Let's do it again. So we'll make a single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease, pull the yarn through, and this time, on that invisible decrease, so that's the 2nd one you've done, we change the yarn color to our teal, just like that. Okay, so from here, we're going to do something a little different. We are going to make another bubble stitch. So we're getting used to these bubble stitches, so we're not coming in this space here, but we're coming down here. So wrap the yarn first, come into that elongated stitch space, pull it up, and pull through 2. Let's do that another 2 times. Pull it up, pull through 2, 1 more time, wrap into the same stitch space, pull it up, and pull through 2. There we go. Now we can change our yarn color back to flesh pink as we weave it through those 4 loops on the hook, just like that. And there's our first sort of bikini half, if you will. So the next thing we need to do is make an invisible decrease. So let's do that now. So invisible decrease coming right up. There it is right there. Then I'll make a single crochet stitch, change my yarn color, just like that. And now we're going to make, again, our bubble stitch, spike bubble stitch. So there's the first one. Come down to this elongated stitch space, pull it up, pull through 2. Let's do it one more time. Pull it up and pull through 2. Grab your flesh pink colored yarn and pull it through all 4 loops on the hook, just like that. Now technically we need now a decrease here. So let's make an invisible decrease right there. There we go. Let's continue with a single crochet stitch, and I'm going to weave in that teal colored yarn right there. Then we'll make another decrease. And we will also finish with one more decrease. So we've kind of had to alter where we put those decreases this time to fit in these 2 little bikini bops. Okay, you want to finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1. You should have 12 single crochet stitches now in the round. For round number 11 right now, what we're going to do is the following. We'll start off with a single crochet stitch, weave in this teal colored yarn 1 time should be enough. So single crochet stitch first. You don't need this one anymore, so we can cut that a little bit later. And then in the second stitch space, you're going to make an increase, 1 and 2. Let's repeat that. So we've got single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, 1 and 2. And again, let's repeat. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, 1 and 2. So I want you to repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, finish with a slip stitch and chain 1, and you should have a total of 18 stitches in the round again. It's at this point that you can actually just cut the green or the teal colored yarn right there. And now in this next round, we're going to do the following. Single crochet stitch first, another single crochet stitch, so that's 2 single crochet stitches, followed by an increase, 1 and 2. And you just want to repeat that a total of 6 times all the way around. You'll have 24 stitches after the completion of round number 12, slip stitch and chain 1 to finish this off. And now that we've finished that round, we're going to work the next 4 rounds with just single crochet stitches. So repeating the next 4 rounds are just going to be 24 single crochet stitches for each round. So that's 4 rounds of 24 single crochet stitches. Alright, I'll let you guys do that. Pause the video, come back, and then we'll start the next round. Alright, so this next round, so we've just completed those 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, and 4 of single crochet stitches the entire way around. So here we go. So for this next round, what we'll be doing, super simple again, single crochet stitch first, single crochet stitch again, so that's 2 single crochet stitches, followed by an invisible decrease. Like that. Invisible decrease there. Single crochet stitch first, another single crochet stitch, followed by invisible decrease. Repeat that another 4 times, and then slip stitch and chain 1 to finish off that round. You will have 18 single crochet stitches in the round. Alright, so the next round is just a single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. And that's it. Repeat that 6 times all the way around. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. All the way around, and then we're finished. Alright, so we just finished that round there. I'm just going to pull the yarn through like we're chaining one, but make it a little bit bigger because we don't want to kind of unravel this yarn as we go through that. So what we're going to do at this point is add our 6mm black safety eyes and add stuffing inside as well. Okay, so we've put in these 6mm black safety eyes between rounds. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So between rounds 14 and 15. So that lays right in the middle here. Between rounds 14 and 15, black safety eyes go there, about 3 stitch spaces apart, and it's kind of in line with the body, just like that. So now that we've put these safety eyes in, we also need to put the backs of them in and secure that tightly. So the narrow end faces towards the yarn. So let's do that. And then we'll add the fiber filling inside. Alright, so just layer by layer, grab a little bit of your fiber filling and push it all the way to the bottom. It should be fairly easy here. If you can't fit your finger through here, just use a pair of cutters or something to nicely poke it through and condense it in there until you, layer by layer, fill up the entire body and head. So I'll let you guys do that. Pause the video and come back once you're finished. Okay, so we've just added all of that fiber filling into the body, as you can see here. And now we're up to our last round for the body slash head. So I'm just going to insert my hook back into this stitch loop. And then all I'm going to do for this last round is the following. First of all, I'm kind of pushing in a finger into the middle of the head just to help compress that yarn in, and it won't weave into my stitches. And now for this last round, we are going to be making a total of 6 invisible decreases. So you can see I was just working my hook through those front loops of the first 2 stitches. So that's my first invisible decrease, front loop, second invisible decrease, front loop, third invisible decrease. Here's the 4th coming up. Got only 2 more to go. There's 1, and 1 more. There we go. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to come into your very first stitch and make a slip stitch and pull the yarn through, cut it. I had already previously cut it, but cut it to around maybe like 15 centimeters worth of that flesh pink colored yarn. I'm up to the end of my yarn ball, so that's why I have so much yarn, but I would only recommend cutting about 10 to 15 centimeters so you don't waste yarn. Okay, so once you've done that, so I'll even cut it as well, and I'll have this as spare. So I'm just grabbing a tapestry needle here, so it's got a big eye, and then just feed your yarn tail through that. And now all we're going to do to finish off this head is essentially the following. You want to go through the front loop of the remaining 6 stitches. So there's 1 front loop, here's the next front loop, and so on and so forth until you've reached the end of this round, weaving through each front loop. So this is my 6th front loop right here. And then in a clockwise direction, the way that you've weaved it through, you want to pull the yarn and close the top of the head, just like that. Get rid of any bumps that you can see by just pushing it in. Have the needle come through the center of that. Pop it out anywhere through the head, and then watch again, just pull it a little bit more, just like that. Now we've got a flat head at the top, which is exactly what we want. And now I'm going to weave this yarn through in the direction of the stitch, so it's a diagonal direction, as you can see there. So I'm coming into the diagonal space, not across and not vertically down, always diagonal, and it's usually in the direction where that diagonal lies. So I wouldn't go this way because the diagonal is from this side to that side. So that's why I've continued on like that. So I'll just weave it through maybe the next, this will be the last, so this will be the 3rd time that I've woven my yarn tail through. And I don't pull too tightly as I do that as well. Then I'll cut the excess, if there is excess, so you can feed it into the head to hide it away. Or do as I've done just there, give it a little bit of reshaping with the fiber filling inside, make sure the eyes look good. And there we go. So we've just completed the body of our Nami character. Now we just have to do the hair and stick it on or sew it on, and then we will be finished. So for the hair, we're going to use orange colored yarn, as you can see here. And we're going to start by just making a regular magic ring. And after this magic ring, we are now going to make 6 single crochet stitches inside. So this is number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, and finally number 6. Don't make these too tight here. You want to make sure they're nice and flat. And then grab your yarn tail and pull the yarn tail until you close that magic ring. Everything is nice and flat here. We don't have extra bumps or anything like that, which is perfect. Then we want to enter into the very first stitch space and make a slip stitch to finish It's nice and flat, as you can see, and chain 1. So make sure this here is nice and flat before you continue on. Now for round 2, super simple, you're just making increases in every stitch space. So that will be a total of 6 increases to make 12 stitches for the completion of round number 2. And then just also finish with a slip stitch and a chain 1. So you can see our circle is nice and flat here. If it's not flat, try and change the tension of your yarn as you're making those stitches. For round number 3, we're going to make a single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, 1 and 2. And again, single crochet stitch, followed by an increase, 1 and 2. And you want to complete that all the way around, slip stitch and chain 1 to finish off round number 3. Okay, so this is the next thing you'll be doing for the next 4 hair strands. So we're starting the hair strands right now, and we'll do it as follows. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. Then in the second loop from the hook, you're going to make a slip stitch, just like that. And for the remaining 2 loops, you're going to make single crochet stitches down the length of the chain. So you can see now we finished our first hair strand right there. And then we're going to not come here because this is our first hair strand, but come into this next stitch space and make a slip stitch. Super easy, just like that. So let's repeat this another 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second loop from the hook is the slip stitch, followed by 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2. And then come into the next stitch space and make a slip stitch, ready to start the third hair strand. 1, 2, 3, followed by a, we've got a chain 4, don't we? 4, followed by the slip stitch, and then 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, just like that. Let's make one more. 1, 2, 3, and 4, slip stitch first, followed by 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, just like that. Come into the next stitch space, make a slip stitch, and now in this next one we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And in the same way, you'll still make that slip stitch in the second loop from the hook, and then continue on with your remaining 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like so. Then make a slip stitch, just like that. And now we're going to chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Come into the second loop from the hook, make your slip stitch, and now you can continue on making single crochet stitches all the way down the length of this hair strand. This is my 3rd single crochet, my 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and finally 11th. Make a slip stitch in the next stitch. And all you're going to do now is continue with chaining 13 all the way around, and you'll see how many times you need to do that. And we're going to leave 3 stitch spaces at the end for something else. So let's continue that now. Chain 13, slip stitch in the second loop from the hook, completing it with 11 single crochet stitches, and repeat as many times as the hair strands denote down the bottom. Okay, so we finished those 10 strands of chain 13. I'm onto the 10th one now, and I'm coming into the next stitch space. I'm just going to make a slip stitch as normal. Okay, so from here, all I'm going to do is actually chain about 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the reason I'm going to do that, I'm just going to have a very loose or thin looking hair strand here. and just cut it at the end here. Pull it nice and tightly at the bottom, and that's just my hair strand that will just flow across the face, or at least that's the intention. And then I'm going to come into the very next stitch space and chain. Ooh, it's either 5 or 4. It depends how you want this. I'll probably do 1, 2, 3. I'll probably just do 4. So if you wanted to be even more consistent than me, then you could probably just start off with 5 of these hair strands across here, and then finish off by cutting the yarn here. But actually, no, I wouldn't recommend that, because then you wouldn't have a long yarn tail at the end. So this way is probably better. I'm like half talking to myself here. Okay, so what we'll do here in this next stitch, which is the last stitch, or the 18th stitch of the 3rd round, we're just going to make a slip stitch. And I hope you saw that. Maybe I went through it too fast, but I wove this on top of the hook as I did that stitch, just to keep it nice and secure there. And then I'm going to come straight into this very first stitch space, have this yarn over the hook as well, and make another slip stitch, just to secure that. And then I'm going to pull this yarn through and cut around about a 30 centimeter tail there. And this is the yarn tail that I'll be using to sew my hair strands to the head, all the way around. Okay, so these 2 yarns can be cut, and you can hide them sort of underneath right here as you stick on the hair to the head. And what you want is these 4 to 5 hair strands here, the smallest ones, to fit across the center of the forehead. So I'm going to pin these down. Feel free to pin them down as well if you have pins. If not, just you can start, I guess, securing the center. You might want 1 pin for the very beginning. So for example, if you have something, just to pin this very center piece to the center of the head as well. That just kind of keeps it at least in place. Just like that. Alright. Okay, so I've just pinned those strands to the head, as you can see. So here with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 chain 4 hair strands, as you can see here, I've kind of kept 2 in the center, 1 and 2 across this side, and then the other one across this side. I have this one kind of flowing from the face, and then I have stuck the rest of the chain 13s all the way around, as you can see there. So what we're going to do is use our long hair strand, or not hair strand, but the long yarn tail right here. And then I'm going to also use a sewing needle. If you have a sewing needle, please use a sewing needle rather than a tapestry needle. It makes work so much easier, but it is still very possible with a tapestry needle. A sewing needle is one with a sharp tip and a small end here, and a tapestry needle is one with a large eye piece and a blunt end here, which is usually more thick, or a little bit thicker here. So I'm using a sewing needle to do these hair strands. Some people like to secure the crown first. I kind of do that towards the end, just a little bit. So I'm going to come into my stitch space, and I might start over here. So I'm going to come down here, and then wherever that pin is, I'm going to have my needle come out at that space. So you can see my pin was in that space. Now my needle comes out in that space. You might need a pair of, let's say, pliers or something if you have trouble weaving your sewing needle through, which I am having trouble here. So I'm going to get a pair of pliers right now. So here's my pair of pliers, just to make it easier for me. Usually I don't use such a small sewing needle. Mine is a little bit bigger, and it just makes weaving a little bit easier all the way around. But let's continue now. So as you can see, I've come in here, I've come out this stitch space here. And what I want to do with the hair strand is come out first, or weave it through one of the sides at the bottom, pull it through, and then weave it across the other side of that hair strand and come into the same stitch space. And then wherever the needle is, or the pin is, sorry, I'm going to have the needle come out in that space. So you can see that's where my pin was, so my needle is now coming out there. I'll use a pair of pliers to pull it through, or if yours just kind of smoothly comes out, that is even better. Try not to get to this yarn tail attached to anything else. It's going to be right on that hair strand, as you can see there. Then I'm coming to the side of the next hair strand, pulling my yarn through that, and then coming around to the side of that same hair strand, and back into the stitch space. Then wherever the next needle is, I'm going to have my needle come through that. And I'm just going to continue that process all the way, essentially, just all the way, one by one, sewing those hair strands together. So I'll let you guys do that now, and then we'll come back at the completion of this last hair strand here, then we'll secure a little bit of the crown, and then we'll finish up. I forgot to mention, just for these larger hair strands, we're obviously not going to sew at the tip here, so wherever that pin is, or we've pinned it to the head, or if you haven't pinned, that's more than fine. Just kind of get a gauge for you where you want your hair strand to sit, and then wherever you're going to sew it to the head. So like for example here, I want my hair strand to kind of match that, so it's coming through one end, then coming across the side of the other, and then coming straight back into this stitch space, opening the next pin and doing the same thing. So I just wanted to reiterate that, or just help confirm that for you guys, so it's easier, so that you know you're not actually sewing at the tip for every single hair strand. Okay guys, get onto it and we'll come back once we're finished. Okay, so we've just finished this last hair strand over here for Nami, and you can see I've just I've woven the yarn tail all the way to this point because I just want to secure some of the crown section. So for example, I'll just come around maybe a couple of points just to secure it in place. So maybe like here, just in a few spots. It doesn't have to be exact or mythological. It doesn't have to be exact, guys. So let's just continue. Maybe just one more time around the crown. And that will probably be all we need. So I can remove this pin. Even if you didn't have a pin, that's more than fine. Cut the excess yarn. Remove excess yarn and just push in anything that's left over back inside the body to hide. And there we go, guys. So if you wanted to add a keychain or a yarn chain, add it right to the center point of your Nami character. But there we go. We have just completed Nami. Made her bikini top with jeans, a nice little mini version, which I hope you guys enjoy and can make a keychains and yeah, just add it to a bag or something like that to have your little character with you at all times. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I hope this tutorial helped you, and don't forget to like and subscribe this video if you're enjoying these tutorials, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye!